Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/maliciouscompliance, where people conform to the letter but not the spirit of a request. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy some malicious compliance. Lady demands I conjure a cup from thin air. I worked at this small McDonald's in 2009. I have tons of these stories, as it was in the unfortunate area of town, but this one is my favourite. This woman peeps into the drive-thru and asks for an extra large strawberry milkshake, which is a size McDonald's didn't have. Although they do have a large, which is a good litre. This woman insists that I give her an extra large. I inform her that I cannot conjure cups. She demands her milkshake and goes to the window. I take her money, give her the large one, and think that her order is done. No, she throws this milkshake at me and demands an extra large. Manager wants to step in, but I get crafty. We had these buckets you would give to kids with Happy Meals. I tell the runner to crank the machine to the brim. I get my hoard of strawberry cow sludge and cover that thing with cling wrap and poke a straw into it. I hand this to the lady and just say we ran out of extra large cups. She snatched it from me and peels out of the place. Comes back a minute later, covered in milkshake. Apparently, she went over a speed bump going 50 and it went off like a grenade. Manager said he'd give her our biggest size, large, for free. She goes on basically the same rant, and we had to get this woman taken out of the place by cops, kicking and screaming about her milkshake. I really hate how people can throw a milkshake at you and you still have to give them something else, although that was funny. On why you shouldn't lie about where you live when getting food delivered, and how I got a free meal. This happened about a month or so ago. I live in the UK and do delivery work on a part-time basis as a bicycle courier for a couple of food delivery platforms. Restaurants join them, customers place orders from the restaurants through an app or website, and then a courier gets assigned to deliver the order. The customer is charged a delivery fee and the restaurant is charged a percentage of the order value in commission. The platform pays the courier a fee to deliver, and the rest of the earnings go to operations costs and profits. On both of the services I work for, the couriers are self-employed, and on both platforms, the majority of couriers are on a pay-per-delivery model, which means you only get paid for each job you complete. However, because we are self-employed, we are given some latitude in what orders we accept, and we are allowed to cancel deliveries as long as there is a good reason. When this happens, usually the customer is refunded and the courier is free to dispose of the food how they see fit. Of course, if you cancel too often, you'll get kicked off the platform, so it's not a good idea to do it without good reason. On this occasion, the platform I was working for operates on a variable fee model, so that longer distances would get paid more, but short-range trips would be paid a bit less. When you are assigned a delivery on the platform's career app, it shows you the address of the restaurant and the address of the customer, as well as the designated payment for the trip. I was assigned a delivery from a mid-range burger joint. I checked the order and the trip was a very short-range one. The address was in the city centre, about 300 metres away from the restaurant. As a result, the fee was only £3.85, the lowest amount the platform pays couriers under the variable fee model. However, for a delivery that would take less than 10 minutes to complete, I'd happily accept that. So, I swiped to collect and went to the restaurant and picked up the order. A few burgers, a couple of portions of fries, and 3 milkshakes. I then swiped to start the trip. The app gives you navigation to the address, and also includes a small box with optional delivery instructions. if the customer wants to include any, e.g. doorbell not working, please knock. When I started the trip, I noticed there were some delivery instructions. In the instructions box was an address and postcode. When I punched it into Google Maps, it brought up an address well outside the city centre, and also, importantly, a little outside the delivery radius by a few hundred meters. Now, sometimes customers put in the wrong address by mistake. It happens. You order to a different location than usual, the app remembers it, and doesn't always change back to your default address. People tend not to notice the address is wrong when they order. Usually when that happens, I'll deliver to the changed address. It's a pain, but I get that mistakes happen, and it doesn't happen often. But this was deliberate. This guy knew he was out of the area, and so had selected an address in the city centre, so the app would accept his order, and then put his actual address in the delivery notes. Usually when people pull this stunt, they put the address at the closest point on the map that could be delivered to, and then message the courier that they in fact live a few hundred meters further down the road. However, because the fee we are offered is fixed at a point of acceptance, if the order is further away, we don't get paid any extra for the extra distance. So this guy was trying to make me do what would have been a 3-mile trip, the delivery radius is only 2.5 miles, for £3.85. With traffic and road conditions, it would have been around a 25-minute round trip. Not gonna happen. This is where the malicious compliance comes in. Because we are self-employed, we are not employees. Effectively, each delivery we accept is a separate contract with the service, where they offer us agreed work for an agreed fee. If the terms change after we have accepted, we are under no obligation to continue the work. Unlike an employee, they cannot make us deliver to the revised address. So, if the customer changes their address, although the service would prefer us to complete the order anyway, we are not obliged to. Therefore, I went to the city centre address the customer had entered as their location, and swiped on the app to say I had arrived. I then called the support line for couriers and explained that I had arrived at the designated address, but the customer had let me know that the address had changed, and the address was in fact out of zone. The support staff asked if I was happy to go to the revised address. I told them I was not. They told me that was fine, and as I was at the assigned address, to swipe to complete the delivery so that I would still be paid for the trip, and I could dispose the food as I saw fit. Sitting just down the road were a few other couriers, so I swiped to complete the order and then went to share my bounty with them, until my next delivery came through. As for the customer, well, per the terms and conditions of the platform, if the courier cancels the trip for reasons out of your control, if their delivery vehicle breaks down en route for example, then you get refunded. But if the courier is unable to complete the delivery because of you, for example, if you aren't at the address you designate, then the platform is under no obligation to refund you. Of course, out of a gesture of goodwill, they might offer you platform credit, but we couriers talk to each other, and we know not to complete deliveries out of zone, because it's not good for us. So even if he got credit, if he tried to pull the same trick again, he was gonna end up in the same situation. That's a win-win, so basically he screwed this jerk over and he got paid to eat. Wow. So you want to pay by the hour. Okay. We operate a small charter aircraft business working in the tourist sector. Traditionally, we charge our routes out in block time, which means we estimate how long a flight will take and charge the trips out based on that. This works well for accounting. The problem with this method is that these block times are based on the direct route from departure to destination. So whenever we have to fly around weather, we end up eating the cost. We do this in order to fix the costs for the downstream operators, and as a courtesy, we make less profit on those trips. Enter Natasha. Natasha is a tour operator who uses our service to disperse her guests to various destinations. After receiving her latest bill, she noticed that she was being charged a block to a destination we had not been flying to. She was concerned that she had been chronically overbilled and decided that today was the last day that would happen. Our brilliant customer service agent named Wilson received a rather agitated call. What kind of BS are you trying to pull? You are not billing me correctly. You have charged me to destination X, but we really go to destination Y. Important note, the destination in flight time between destination X and destination Y as a block is less than 6 minutes, so it doesn't register as a difference when we bill for the flights. So we just book all of the books to destination X to simplify the billing. Well, we booked them to destination X because I don't care. You will no longer bill me in blocks. You will bill me in hours. We can do that, but if we do it that way, it might end up costing... Just do it! Well, you can probably tell where this is going. It takes Wilson some time, but she creates a procedure, very important in aviation, to bill this one single lady by the flight times recorded in the logbook. She produces an invoice and sends it. 2 minutes later. Why is my bill more expensive? I already sold the trips at the old price and now I'm losing money on my trips. Natasha, I'm very sorry, but you've asked to be billed by the hour. And this is what it costs to do that flight, as the aircraft had to fly around weather to reach the destination. Further, when you asked to be billed by the flight hour instead of the block time, we audited the block times and found a discrepancy. So now, all of the block time flights will be billed at a new rate, which is X amount more expensive. But I can't afford to do the trips for this price. Well, now that we have done the audit, we can't afford to fly the routes based on block time. Next year, we will be raising the block rates, but for this year, you have requested to pay by the hour, and we have made an investment in doing so, so you will be billed by the hour for the trips. Click. You should have kept your mouth shut, Natasha. Gah. You're not sick. If you get up from your desk again, you'll be in trouble. First grade, I was feeling very sick. I went to the nurse. She took my temp. It was normal. She sent me back to class. I did this 3 times that day. The last time, she and my teacher made a big fuss. Said I didn't have a temperature and they wouldn't call my parents, and that if I left my desk again, I'd be in trouble. So first grader me starts feeling very nauseous. Eventually, I couldn't hold it in anymore and threw up onto my desk. It splashed back onto me and my fellow student on either side of me. Both of them threw up out of disgust, along with 4 other students. 7 kids were sent home because they threw up when I threw up. My teacher asked why I didn't go to a trash. I reminded her that I was forbidden from leaving my desk again. I can understand if it was like a first grader, because a lot of them probably fake being ill, but if they get up 3 times and you refuse because they don't have a temperature, maybe there's something wrong. So go to the dean. This was my 4th semester working as an hourly teaching assistant, a TA, for a freshman programming class. Teaching assistants are responsible for grading the programs that are turned in online. As you can imagine, 95% are turned in the day it is due, despite the prompt being posted a month prior. Naturally, there are a handful turned in late. I can only remember that this student had curly hair and wore sunglasses walking into the lab. We'll call him CH, or Chad. Chad turns in his first programming assignment 1.5 hours late. I grade the program, which is an 83, minus late, which is 73. Chad comes in next lab without previous communication and begins the usual, "Explain my grade." Why did I get a 73? As you can see from the grading rubric, you lost 10 points because you didn't properly comment your program, 5 points because you didn't use proper naming conventions, 2 points because you forgot the proper header for the program, and 10 points because it was turned in late. Chad, in a raised tone, "I don't understand why I lost so many points when my program runs perfectly fine." This is simply a part of the grading rubric that was posted with the prompt about a month ago. Not to mention that when coding professionally, you will be coding in teams on much more complicated parts of a program, and comments help communicate what it does. Chad, again in increased volume, "That doesn't change the fact that my program is perfect otherwise." This class is trying to instill healthy programming habits. That and the professor has mentioned the importance of comments, naming conventions, and headers, not to mention the rubric. Fine, whatever. Then why'd you take off 10 points for turning it in late? As I mentioned last lab, your assignment is due at this time, and personally, I accept late work and take off 10 points each day. Chad, still louder, "That's not fair. I had tried turning it in earlier and it didn't go through, and I accidentally fell asleep and turned it in as soon as I woke." You have had plenty of time to work and turn in the assignment, over a month to be precise. Chad, barely not yelling, "Fine, I'm going to let Professor know what you are doing." That's fine with me. Her policy is late work is not accepted. "You know what? I'll go to the dean." So go to the dean. He'll ask what the syllabus says. Chad storms out. The teaching assistants get all kind of grief from the students about turning in late work or requesting to do makeup assignments. This is one of the reasons a syllabus exists. This particular class's syllabus states that late work will not be accepted. Luckily, the professor is pretty laid back, always backs up her teaching assistants, and lets each TA grade how they please. My policy is 10 points off for each day late, and I'll regrade an assignment at request, except at a higher standard. Funnily enough, no one has asked me to regrade their assignment. He came back the next class and apologized. Apparently, he has problems getting too heated. That explains the sunglasses then. I definitely expected the dean or the professor to say, "Oh, it was late, well, that's not getting accepted," and just have him completely lose it, but that works too. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like, and if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.